Today we are covering the hangar business within GTA Online. And let me just tell you straight up, not wasting any of your time, it is definitely worth it. The profit you can make off of a full hangar in a public session is absolutely insane. The time investment heavily depends on if you have more people to help you with it, because solo, it's going to take a while. And of course, you can store and customize basically every aircraft in the entire game within the hangar, of course. And if there's a specific thing you're looking for in this video, timestamps in the description, or of course, there's segmented parts of the video throughout the bar you can drag across for the time. Either way, let's hop right in and get this guide started. So the first thing we got to cover is how do you purchase one and where should you purchase one? Well, you go on the phone, go to the internet, Maze Bank foreclosure is always right in the middle of the screen, enter site, and you can categorize it by hangars at the top right of the screen. Now there's some at the airport and some at Voice Zancudo, so let's cover the pros and cons of the airport one. So usually these are the two cheaper ones coming at 1.5, and I think the first one is 1.3, but I don't know. I already own this one. So they're cheaper, they're usually closer to you, and closer to most sourcing and selling missions. And there's not really any cons to owning the airport ones, at least none that I can think of. However, the Voice Zancudo is drastically different. Far more pricey, coming in at 3.2 million, the cheapest one being 2 million. They're usually further away from most sourcing and selling missions. They're usually further away from just you overall, but you do get free access to the military base, so you can steal a jet, I believe, whenever you want to, or just go in there without getting 4 stars. So it's pretty nice. When you do customize one, I'm just going to tell you right now, if you're here just for the business side of things, you don't need any of these. But the living quarters might help you out if you want to spawn at the hangar itself. And of course, the style, up to you. Lighting, up to you. Floor graphics, up to you. Office furniture, of course, up to you. Living quarters, up to you. The workshop, however, this is what allows you to customize basically any aircraft in the entire game. So if you want to be able to customize all your planes or helicopters, you're gonna need this workshop. So when you do get in the hangar for the first time, of course, it's going to be completely empty if you're brand new to this, but just covering everything around the hangar just real fast. To the right here, you do get a free weapon workshop, as far as I know. You don't got to purchase it or anything. Does get kind of pricey if you want any, but of course, you do not need any of these. Now, back where this blue circle is, or this weird garage icon on the map, this is where you can move all your different aircraft. You have like the normal floor where all of them are just out. You have a normal storage, and if you're a GTA Plus member, you have the Vinewood storage. This guy is Rooster right here. I'm just going to say straight up, ignore this guy. Waste of time. He doesn't really help you when it comes to sourcing crates or anything like that. I'll explain a little bit later as to why, but just for now, ignore the guy. You can also travel to flight school going up to this blue poster right here. Flight school definitely helps you with your flying stat, and you can get some money out of it. If you do get the living quarters, it'll be up to the left here when you come up the stairs. And, you know, just a living quarters, nothing special. Now, here's like where the main building is, where you're going to be sourcing and all that stuff. You do have some security cameras, kind of useless, but you do have some free stacks you can always fill up on. So if you're low on them, this is one of the places you can do it within the game. So on the computer, this is where all the magic actually happens, where you source crates and where you sell crates. And I'll try my best to explain this to people that don't know what you should actually do. First off, ignore anything from animal materials to counterfeit goods. So you're only focusing on narcotics, chemicals, or medical supplies. Now, whenever you choose which one you want to do, you always want to do land missions. I can't stress this enough. They're far easier, take way less time. And air ones, they're just not worth the time investment for the profit you make. Now, you can either choose doing one of these crates and getting up to 50 of the same one, which is what you actually want to do, or you can bounce between two, so you're constantly doing missions. You do like narcotics, chemicals, and then narcotics, chemicals. Go back and forth between the sourcing. That way you're constantly doing missions and always having crates in your warehouse. Now, if you do go down that route, when you eventually have a full hangar, sell one of the two. So if you get like 26 narcotics and 24 chemicals, just sell your chemicals and then just do that again, bouncing between them, sell the chemicals again when you get the full hangar, and eventually when you get up to 50 narcotics, that's when you sell your narcotics, or whatever crate that you got 50 of. You never want to sell the crate you have more of. You want to keep building that up until you get to 50. That is because at 25 crates, you get a 35% bonus on your sell mission, and at 50 crates, you get a 70% bonus. And the rest of the crates here, from animal materials to counterfeit goods, they don't give you that much of a bonus. So that's why you want to do these first 3 instead of the rest of the 5, because more profit. Now we're covering selling missions and public session and all that stuff a little bit later. So now let's just focus on sourcing. And I'm only covering the land missions since this is a simple guide and these are far easier to do than the air missions. What did I get first? Infiltrate the deal. Okay. Now I will say a problem with sourcing the land missions themselves is you do tend to get the same one over and over and over again a lot, and I don't really know why that is. That is just an unfortunate downside to these missions. But if you don't have a problem with it, I mean, hey, there you go. When you do reach the deal, you're just looking for a orange trailer. I'm actually already seeing it right here. And for all 4 of these land missions, you're doing basically the same thing if you get a vehicle of sorts. So for this trailer here, just blow it up with sticky bombs, or if you have a jet or something like that. The reason is because it saves you a lot of time, and the crates drop on the ground for you. So then you can either pick it up with a fast car that you're driving, or whatever car you're driving, or an aircraft, and it saves so much time because, one, you don't have to either haul a trailer or you don't have to drive a slow vehicle. Okay, I believe we got the break-in mission. Yeah, we did. Okay, so this one is also pretty easy, but can be a little bit tedious if you actually don't know what you're doing. So depending on what location you get for this particular mission, you're looking for a generator of sorts. I believe, is this it right down here? No, that's not it. It's like a gray type of generator, and for this area over here, it can actually spawn on the roof, which is irritating. But it looks like this right here. You just want to shoot at it. So if you get an area that says you gotta like shoot a generator, that's of course what it looks like. You go inside of the building, you steal the crate, and that is that. That's how you do that mission. So this one is probably the most annoying you can get, but a good indicator of if you get this one is if it sends you like off in the ocean. It could be at like Paleto Bay, it could be down here at the bottom of the map, and I think there is a location for the Alamo Sea if I'm not mistaken. Now when you do get over here, if you are in a land vehicle, it can be a little bit more tedious because at the shore here there are some enemies that can take you out pretty fast, but make sure that you take these guys out if you're in as I was saying, you have to take them all out if you're in a land vehicle, and you do have to take a boat or something to get over there. And of course, if you're in an air vehicle like an oppressor or a jet, you can just fly right over to the barge over here and just land on it, and that's about it. When you do get over here, you're of course going to take out more enemies, because why not, and get stuck between 2 boats, of course. Once you take out most of the enemies or all of them, you're looking for a release switch. It usually could spawn over here, the back side over here, or the other side. There we go. Just kind of like walk around the whole thing and you'll eventually find the release switch. Now once that is released in the water, you want to get the Avisa submarine, which is at the back of the barge, either side usually, and the crate you want is underwater. That's why you're using the Avisa. This can spawn a lot deeper depending on what location you get, but same idea. You pick it up with the Avisa, and hopefully you don't get stuck like I almost just did, and then you got to bring the crate to the shore. And then once you get over here, you're gonna have a short cutscene, like not even 10 seconds long, of a black screen basically. And this is the same idea as the trailer we had before. Just make sure you you know, boom, you want to blow this up just like that. You pick up the crate and deliver it back to your hangar. That is pretty much that mission. Very annoying if you don't have the right vehicles for this. All right, now the final mission you can get is where it's a crash site essentially. So I think this can spawn at the airfield over here normally. I think it's the only place that it goes to, but then it spawns randomly over here once you actually get over there, because this mission isn't as simple as just go there and get it. Once you get close here, you're gonna have some dialogue that plays, and I think it's maybe like 20 seconds or so, and then it'll tell you where it's at. But if you are flying an aircraft, you can actually just try and spot a helicopter that's flying around somewhere around this area. That's how you know where the wreckage site is that you're looking for. And you are looking for a crate by itself. There's a lot of enemies, but these guys are not very good at spotting you. So as long as you kind of like either fly around or drive around this area and look for a flashing crate, like I just found mine right here, you can just pick it up and leave with pretty much no problem at all. As you can see, the guys didn't even detect me, and I was right in front of their vision. So it can either be really easy or very tedious, depending on if they spot you or not. That's all the land missions covered. So now we can move over to how selling actually works for this business. Now, when it comes to selling, you always want to make sure that you do the land mission sales. Again, this is kind of very similar to the sourcing the land missions. It's always going to be super easy. You actually only get one vehicle every single time if you're solo. And depending on how many people you have in your CEO, you will get more vehicles, but it's essentially still a solo sell. One person can do all the deliveries. And I believe I actually got the one that is a little bit more complicated, where you have to reverse a trailer into an area. Once you actually do start going as well, you have a global signal at the bottom right of your screen. This applies to any sell mission you get, and I think if you have more people, it does make the global signal go down more, because you have more people to help you, but if you're solo, it's a whole minute. And once that cooldown is up, you can actually activate Ghost Organization, just like that, and get in another 3 minutes. This usually is enough time to do the entire sell. However, if it's not enough time, you could also just call up Lester and spend a couple of dollars to be off the radar for an extra minute. So you can essentially be off the radar for a total of 5 minutes, which should be plenty of time to actually do the full sell. And for the other sell mission that you can get, there's actually 2 different variants, but they're basically the same thing. You just make 5 to 10 separate deliveries with one vehicle, and it tells you where to go. So not too hard. I'm sure most of you could figure it out. It is a simple guide after all. You shouldn't have any problems doing the sell missions. But for this particular sell mission, you have to reverse the trailer into the spot, and it's usually between 2 other trailers. So this can be a bit tricky if you don't know how to reverse a trailer into an area. Especially if you have the phantom wedge, the front of it's so long that you probably can get caught on things. But just like that, the sell mission's done. And the other one, super easy again. You should have absolutely no issue selling your cargo for this business, even if you're a solo player. So the final thing I want to mention about the hangar itself is you can actually purchase Higgins Hella Tours to get a 10% boost on your sell value. Now, the reason I'm not mentioning it earlier in the video is because it is a whole separate thing entirely. You have to buy the car wash, and then you have to buy the Higgins Hella Tours as a separate property. But it's not as simple as just owning the property either. You also have to make sure that the heat level on it stays down so you can actually get that bonus going. So if you do want me to make a guide on the car wash, Higgins Hella Tours, and the smoke on the water business, I totally can as well. But overall, that has been the guide in its entirety. So if you enjoyed, let me know if I should make other simple guides for other businesses. Again, I'm not trying to be super in detail with these type of videos because I know some people aren't interested in knowing every little thing. They just want to know what's the most effective way to run the business, what's the fastest way I can get crates, fastest way I can sell. That is my goal, just to show you how to do the businesses as fast as you can. So let me know what you would like to see next. Otherwise, hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, everybody.